My friends, it is time for another one of my very best pieces of content. I mean, it's hard for me to choose because all my content is so great. It's hard for me to choose one. It's like asking a parent who their favorite child is, and they'll tell you, well, I can't pick just one. All my children are so wonderful. But in reality, they're like, yeah, but Ricky's my favorite. That's how I feel too. My tier lists, they're my best content. I love all my content, but the tier lists are the best. And today we will be talking about my favorite genre of movie. No, actually, my favorite genre of art in general, 2000s teen movies. The best, right? What's better than 2000s teen movies? They're the best. Does not get any better than that. You know that if a movie has this font on it and it has like some like white nerd on there who looks like he's down bad, you're like, this guy looks like he wants to get laid. You know it's going to be a good movie. So we will rank 10 of the best and worst in the genre, see where they land. So the first one, of course, we have to start with American Pie. And also, I want to thank Crossrope for sponsoring this video to tell you about their brand new, very cool Bluetooth connected jump rope workout experience called AMP. You get guided workouts for your fitness goals, real-time feedback on your jumping, and access to a library of over 2,000 workouts and fitness programs, as well as tutorials. The app is very, very well done. And the great part is that AMP is a fraction of the cost of a lot of other connected fitness experiences. The AMP set itself is $199, and the monthly subscription is $9.99, which compared to the other options is so much more affordable. And because it's just a jump rope and an app, it's super portable, which is awesome if you travel a lot. It's also super easy to set up and use. I connected it to my phone in like 10 seconds. And if you're new to jumping rope, this is the perfect way to get started. And for anybody who might be doubting it, trust me, jumping rope is legit. I did a ton of it when I was doing Muay Thai back in the day, and honestly, it's a great workout. So if you want to check it out for a limited time only, you can save 15% off your AMP purchase with the code FINN, F-I-N-N. Just go to the link in the description of this video. We have to start with American Pie, and I thought it'd be fun to read the descriptions of them because these IMDb descriptions make everything sound terrible. IMDb says, 4 teenage boys enter a pact to lose their virginity by prom night. They make everything sound like totally like bland. You would never watch that based on the description, right? Have you guys seen this movie recently? Have you guys watched it in a while?
Oh, baby, you're so good.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta say,
I am the best.
Feels so good.
we watched this movie recently, and I gotta say, this is gonna be a controversial take. It's not as good as you might remember. It's definitely not bad by any means, but it's not as good as you might remember. Yeah, I agree with this. It doesn't hold up like before. It's not unwatchable, but it's kind of rough. It is. You know, it has its moments. Stifler is, of course, the best. I love Stifler. I want to be Stifler. That's all I ever wanted out of life, is to be him. And it has its moments, and it definitely kind of laid the foundation for the genre. Honestly, it's not fantastic, and there's a lot of really awkward stuff in it. For example, it's actually pretty not cool. The entire plot of the movie is that they trick Nadia, the foreign exchange student. There's Blink 182 doing their cameo. The plot of the movie is that they trick the foreign exchange student into having sex with Jim, and they broadcast it to the entire school without her consent. And nobody has any problem with it. They think it's funny. Like, everyone thinks it's awesome. They're stoked for it. It's a little awkward. I mean, all these movies in general kind of didn't age that well. And I'm not here to, like, you know, cancel movies for things that they did 20 years ago. But it's like, it's a little rough. Yeah, pretty much if an incel makes a video, it's a little bit rough. So I know that this is going to be controversial. You guys are going to think I'm a terrible person for this. I'm not saying that American Pie is bad by any means, because I don't think it's bad, but I think it might not be as good as a lot of us remember. That's all I'm saying. I should say one important factor to consider with rating these movies is how much of a crush I had on any of the ladies in the film at the time. And you know, we all loved Shannon Elizabeth, but you know who I liked a lot that kind of didn't really get enough appreciation is Allison Hannigan, the flute girl, who is also on Buffy. I was a big fan of Allison Hannigan back in the day, and Tara Reid. Whatever happened to Shannon Elizabeth? Who knows? Anyway, this is going to be controversial, I think. I'm going to put American Pie, I'm going to put it on the B tier. I know that sounds harsh. It's not that it's bad. It's just not as good as we may remember it being. I know people aren't going to be happy about this, but that's where I put it. And then there is American Pie 2, which, I mean, at least American Pie 1 was fresh and new and like really kind of defined the genre, right? When American Pie 1 came out, that was like the best thing in the world to me. I laughed so hard that like I was in physical pain. So American Pie 2 basically is the same thing, only they're in college now. They just kind of repeat a lot of the same jokes. And, you know, I gotta be honest, the rest of the whole American Pie franchise is not great. It's, in fact, I would say it's borderline bad. Oh, this is the best part of the movie, though. As much as I don't think this movie is great, this part is fantastic.
Who wants me to touch Amber? Oh, yeah! You guys first.
What?
You guys first.
You don't touch, we don't touch. That's right. You gotta kiss. Yeah.
Oh!
Come on, be a man about it.
More movies where the guys kiss. That's my vote. But overall, you know, if we're being honest, as much as we all have fond memories of the American Pie franchise, you know, the honest truth is that the movies themselves are, you know, they're not as great as you might remember them. And the second one, not even as good as the first. I'm going to say that this one, it's not terrible by any means, but I'm going to put it on the C tier. As much as it pains me to say that, you know, it's like admitting that your favorite band's new album is mid. You don't want it to be true, but it is. The facts are the facts. It's a C tier movie. That's horrible. I know, but we're not here to talk about the soundtracks. I know you guys are all fixated on music, and you guys can't think about anything other than music, but we're here to talk about the movies. I know you guys want to talk about 2000s pop punk constantly. You guys want to talk about 2000s music because you're so fixated on it. But I want to talk about something other than retro music for once. So that's why we're doing this. Next one, which I would say maybe my favorite movie in the genre, is She's All That. Technically, this came out in '99, but whatever. Don't split hairs with me, people. We're going to call it a 2000s teen movie because it came out in '99. Close enough. A high school jock makes a bet that he can turn an unattractive girl into the school's prom queen. I love these movies because one of my favorite tropes, which of course they've made fun of many times since then, one of my favorite tropes is the plain Jane turns hot. Like, in what world would you see Rachel Lee Cook? It says he can turn an unattractive girl into the school's prom queen. Yeah, look at her. So unattractive. So unattractive. Who could ever possibly be attracted to her? This established so many of the tropes in the genre.
Zach Seiler had it all.
How's it going, man?
President of his class, captain of the team, and dating the most popular girl in school until she went on spring break.
So I've been dancing for maybe
spring break.
5 minutes, right? And that's when it happened.
I'm back hunting!
Matthew
Mark is
Lillard.
from the real world, like the TV show, okay?
But they kicked him out of the...
Look at that. Who remembers watching TV in your rich... Like, back then, I felt like only rich people had a TV in the kitchen like this. Even though realistically, this probably cost $99 at Walmart.
Okay.
But they kicked him out of the house.
My condolences go out to Zach, who got dissed and dismissed by his magically delicious girlfriend.
In order to save his reputation,
Dissed and dismissed. Rest in peace, Paul Walker.
I'll pick the girl.
I feel like Paul Walker and I would have definitely been friends if we had ever met. I like to call him P-Dubs. That's my nickname for Paul. We never met, but I called him P-Dubs because I feel like we're friends in spirit.
Lucky rebound girl.
She kind of blew me off.
I like her already. Was this some kind of new dork outreach program? Find out where she hangs out.
Dork outreach
But she does
program.
have fun.
So many great moments in this movie. Where do you even start? This is my favorite one, though. Oh, they cut it out. This is the best part of the whole movie. They go to the beach here, and she takes off her overalls, and she has her one-piece bathing suit underneath, and Paul Walker says, check out the Bobos on Super Freak. Best part of the whole movie. And then, of course, they go to the prom, and it's revealed that this was all a sick bet. She fell for Freddie Prinze Jr., but it was all just a sick bet. But wait, no, Lainey Turns out I have feelings for you too. I've fallen in love with you. Don't leave me. No, wait. I can explain myself. Everything about this movie is great. Rachel Lee Cook is stunning. I would say, as much as we may all think of American Pie as kind of the pinnacle of the genre, if you watch it, I think you'll find that actually She's All That is the better movie. I think it holds up better. My personal opinion, it's an S tier movie. Others may disagree. I would put it on the S tier. How about another one that I'm a big fan of? Another underappreciated classic in the genre is the 2008 film Sex Drive. And everything you need to know about the movie is right here. He's leaving virgin territory because all of these movies are about the quest to get laid. Because, you know, when you're in high school, when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, it's the only thing you care about. If there's any ladies that happen to be watching this, you just have to understand, young men, the only thing they care about is getting laid. Men will literally burn their entire lives down to get laid. We will do literally anything. We will do the dumbest shit to get laid, including this guy. And that's what this movie is about. A high school senior drives cross country with his best friends to hook up with a babe that he met online. So that's what happens. He goes online to talk to babes and he gets catfished. He drives all the way to Michigan to meet up with this girl. And of course, it ends up being that, you know, the girl is just in cahoots with her boyfriend to try to rob him, blah, blah, blah. But incredible movie. A lot of jokes that maybe didn't age so well. Let's put it that way. But, you know, it was a different time. We had different standards back then. A lot of F slurs. The punchline to many jokes is, haha, he's gay. But, you know, that's what it was at the time. Why are 2000s movies so harsh on girls? Well, because these are incel films. That's what it is. These are literally like incel movies. This one, I would say, is actually quite a bit more funny than American Pie in hindsight. And it came out almost 10 years later. So they had a little bit more time to perfect the formula. Also features a cameo from Fall Out Boy. So if that's your jam, if you like the 2000s teen movies, this one is a little, it's an underappreciated gem. I would say definitely check it out. Actually, oh yeah, Amish Seth Green. That's right. The Amish Seth Green is in this. Like, this movie's actually legitimately really funny. If you like the genre, I would check it out for sure. And Amanda Carew would go on to be in Silicon Valley, kind of an all-star cast. So maybe not quite as good as She's All That, because She's All That is just a bona fide classic. You got to see it. And in terms of my celebrity crushes, Rachel Lee Cook is near the very top of the charts, but I would say it's a solid A-tier film. This is not a movie. Movies are entertainment for children. Films are art for adults. So it goes on the A-tier. A movie that a lot of people really like, I think probably just because they all like Scotty Doesn't Know, you know, the song on the soundtrack, is Euro Trip. And I'll be honest, I don't think this one was great. Have you watched it recently? That would be my question. Have you watched it recently? It's not bad. Well, I mean, it is kind of bad. It is kind of bad, actually. It's pretty bad. Especially because they had so much to work with. Dumped by his girlfriend, a high school grad decides to embark on an overseas adventure in Europe with his friends. So in other words, like every one of these movies, some down bad, skinny white dork goes on a quest to get laid. That's the plot. What's disappointing is they had so much to work with here. I mean, making fun of Europeans is like shooting fish in a barrel. Like, how can you go wrong with that? Like, if you can't make good jokes, if you can't make jokes happen by mocking Europeans, you have failed. I do it all the time, and I think I'm hilarious. I don't think it's that entertaining, though, is the thing. It's not that entertaining. Overall, it's actually kind of bad. It's not actually funny at all. I know everyone loves, you know, Scotty Doesn't Know. Everyone thinks this movie is great. It's really not. Try watching it again. It's really not a great movie. The scene here where the brother and sister make out, that's funny. This part is good. It has its moments, but overall, I'm sorry to say, people, it's really not great. I would say you can skip it. It's really not great. I know that people are not going to be happy to hear that because everyone has decided that this movie is great. But I'm sorry to say, I've rewatched all of these recently, and it's really not great. It's not F tier. but it's not great. Sorry. Next one. How about the classic 2004 film? Again, film. Movies are entertainment for children. Films are art for adults, and this movie is art. You Got Served. The 2004 film. In order to achieve their dream of opening a recording studio, two friends must first win their city's dance contest, a fierce competition that puts them against a group of tough street dancers. There was a lot of dance movies happening at the time. There's also like Bring It On was around the same time. Similar kind of concept.
It's time to see which one of these crews y'all like to bet.
And Steve Harvey.
Let's do this.
Until those punks from Orange County came along, stole all their moves.
Seems to me like the money in the hat goes to David and Ed.
They were the best of friends.
They were the best of friends.
I know when you're tripping. What's up? I'm not like you.
I just gotta say, fellas, what's stopping you from looking like this? Nothing. That's what these fits right here. Bring it back. It is a bad film, a very bad film. The dancing is kind of cool. The movie is terrible. Look at those punks. Those punks from Orange County stole all their moves. That's not cool. The movie is terrible, barely watchable. As far as the celebrity crush factor, which, let's be real, for me, I would say the celebrity crush factor is a good 50% of the appeal for me. Megan Good is in this movie, playing beautiful. And Megan Good is indeed beautiful. So I feel like they accurately named her character. So there is that. There's the dancing. There's the fits. You know, this was like the pinnacle of like FUBU, Sean John, Echo, the baggy powder blue velour tracksuits. So there's that at least. But is the film good? No, the drip is excellent. Megan Good is excellent. There she is. Look at that. Megan Good, underrated. By the way, Megan Good, underrated as celebrity crush material. You don't hear people talk about her nearly as much as they should. A 2000s goddess. But is the movie good? We can't say that it was great, can we? It's a vibe. It's definitely a vibe. If you got some time to kill, why not watch it? So where does You Got Served fit? I would actually rather watch You Got Served than American Pie 2 or Euro Trip. Just my opinion. It is so bad it's good. It is. The next one on my list. From 2001, Josies and the Pussycats. Have you guys seen this movie with Rachel Lee Cook, Tara Reid, and Rosario Dawson? You guys know my feelings about Rachel Lee Cook. So we've already checked one very important box here, the celebrity crush factor, a big giant green check mark next to Rachel Lee Cook's name. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's actually underrated. A girl group finds themselves in the middle of a conspiracy to deliver subliminal messages through popular music. If you haven't seen it, it's legitimately actually really funny. Essentially, the plot is that Target is conspiring. I think it's Target is like making kids buy shit by sneaking subliminal messages into the music. It's based on an Archie comic from like the 60s.
There were three small-town girls with big-time dreams.
Yeah, it's great. The product placement is so shameless. It's amazing. It's great and hilarious.
Sit around here waiting for it to happen. We are musicians.
Just Rachel Lee Cook at her absolute best. Rosario Dawson, pretty easy in the eyes too.
But they believed in themselves.
It's actually hilarious though.
Yeah, special ed.
Like, it's legitimately a really funny movie. Oh yeah, that's right. And Seth Green in the fake boy band called De Jour, and they have the song Backdoor Lover.
In a
Backdoor
world of tough
Lover.
Competition.
Man, that is so sad.
Gotta talk about the music. This song is actually great.
I'm a punk rock punk queen.
This whole soundtrack is actually legitimately really good. This would be my favorite band if it was real. What a chorus. Yeah, this would do great if it came out today. It 100% would. The soundtrack is awesome. Listen to this. Yeah, it's totally a Disney Channel movie. It's great. I mean, I'll be honest. I wanted to look at Rachel Lee Cook. That's the reason why I watched the movie. Turns out the movie is actually great. Much better than many people might expect. I think it's underrated. People are sleeping on this movie. I'm going to put this one on the same tier as She's All That. And you might notice a common theme in both of the movies that I've put on the S tier. I won't deny it. It's there. Okay, how about another one that many people have mentioned? The 2007 film Superbad, starring Michael Cera and Jonah Hill. I'm going to have another unpopular opinion on this one. I don't love this movie. I don't. I know that everyone thinks this movie is amazing and great and everybody loves it and they think it's the best thing ever. I do like the description of it because, again, these descriptions make every movie sound awful and boring. Two codependent high school seniors are forced to deal with separation anxiety after their plan to stage a booze-soaked party goes awry. Every good movie starts with dorky white guys trying to get laid. That's the only valid premise for a movie. That's it. It's the only one. Is this how nerd culture went mainstream? You know, you've got a good point. I think there's something to that. And I'll tell you why I don't love this movie as much as other people do. It's kind of not the beginning of like nerd stoner culture, but this archetype of like, you know, the dorky guy that listens to podcasts and smokes weed. You know, this type of character, basically, yes. If it's a movie that's about nerds being champions, Finn ain't fucking with it, you dorks. That's the truth. I don't like the nerd stoner shit. You know what I mean? I think McLovin is an irritating cringe character. It's just everything about this to me is just, I find it irritating. Is it objectively a good movie? Yeah, sure. But, and Seth Rogen, oh, just everything about this. This is like the personality template for like white dorks that browse Reddit too much and smoke weed and listen to fucking irritating indie music. You know what I mean? Pretty much your viewer base. Hey, listen, you said it, not me. I don't think it's awful. You know, there's certainly much worse movies out there. I don't think it's horrible by any means, but I don't think it's as great as people seem to think it is. You know, I can't get behind my friends. I'm trying to save you from yourselves is what I'm trying to do. I want you to have a life that's about more than being a white nerd that smokes weed and watches cartoons and eats cereal for dinner. I don't want you to be that guy. And this movie is the personality template for those guys. Can't put it on the C tier because it's definitely better than Euro Trip and American Pie 2. It's not as good as Sex Drive, and there is no Rachel Lee Cook in it, so I'm going to put it on the B tier. It's not the worst movie of all time by any means, but I would put it on the B tier. No Rachel Lee Cook. That's a problem. How about another one of the classics of the 2000s dance movie craze? Bring It On, from the year 2000, starring Kirsten Dunst, who, again, I watched a lot of these movies back then because I wanted to look at the girls. And it turns out that actually the movie's pretty good. The plot is a champion high school cheerleading squad discovers its previous captain stole all their best routines from an inner city school and must scramble to compete at this year's championships. Actually, a really funny movie. Bring It On is good. A lot of the jokes in these movies, you know, not exactly woke. They didn't age super well, like this guy's line here.
You are cheerleaders. Cheerleaders are dancers who have gone retarded.
Ew. Well, look, it was 23 years ago. It was a word we said back then. We don't say the word anymore. So just, you know, there's a lot of F slur in this movie as well. Like there's a gay character and she's like, oh, you speak F word? And I'm like, that one went down a little bit rough, but it is actually a good movie. It's basically the same thing, the same plot as You Got Served, only it's actually funny and a good movie. And Kirsten Dunst, 2000s babe, for sure. Fine film, definitely worth watching. It holds up. It doesn't have Rachel Lee Cook in it, so it can't be S tier, but it can be A tier. I would put it up there with Sex Drive, even though there is a lack of male characters trying to get laid in it. And we all know that the premise of any good movie is down bad white guys trying to get laid, which is not the premise of this movie, but still holds up. It works. The last one that we have, you guys know that this one was coming, right? What do you guys think the last one is? Mean Girls from 2004. Katie Heron is a hit with the Plastics, the A-list girl clique at her new high school, until she makes the mistake of falling for Aaron Samuels, the ex-boyfriend of Alpha Plastic, Regina George. So this movie is truly iconic. People say that about a lot of movies, but this movie is actually iconic. And you look at the cast here, Lindsay Lohan, Tina Fey, so many scenes in this that are still like referenced in popular culture. Stop Trying to Make Fetch Happen, just the idea and the term of plastics, Kevin Kapoor's rap scene at the end, Rachel McAdams, that's her name. So many things in this movie are still a part of pop culture, you know, from 2004. This could come out today, and I think the movie would be just as successful as it was back then. I don't know, but I think like young kids like watch this movie now and still like it. I mean, it's very rare for something to age that well, to hold up. Yeah, get in, loser, we're going to the mall. There's so many lines in this that have just become part of like the pop culture lexicon. And another thing is like men like this movie, even though this was like obviously a movie for teenage girls, like men and women and parents and kids, like everyone can like this movie. It's that good. It is like a legitimate, like actual classic. I would say one of the best movies I've ever seen, despite the fact that there is no Rachel Lee Cook in the movie, which normally I would say that that would be an issue. Most movies without Rachel Lee Cook in them are trash. But in this case, I think we can say that despite the lack of Rachel Lee Cook, I think this one belongs on the S tier. Mean Girls, timeless classic. Absolutely love it. Anybody who doesn't like Mean Girls has bad taste, no soul, and should be put on a barge, sent out to sea, and just sink it to the bottom of the ocean. If you don't like Mean Girls, you're dead to me. We're not friends. That's all there is to it. S tier film. And that does it for the 2000s teen movie tier list. Join us for next time. And I don't know what we'll do next time. We'll see.